Hey, Miss Marion here. We are doing Unit 5, Lesson 6. So go ahead and turn it back to page 188. Read the I can statement. I can draw the graph of a function that represents a real-world situation. Go ahead and write a sentence about that and a number. So 1, I don't remember. 2, I kind of remember. 3, I do remember. And 4, I can teach it to my friend. So let's go ahead and let's turn to page 49. And here we have 5 pictures of a dog taken at equal intervals of time. Diego and Lynn drew different graphs that represent the situation. They both used time as the independent variable. What do you think each one used the dependent variable? And then go ahead and explain that. So pause, answer that, and then come back to me. So if you look at the graphs and different things, both graphs are good scenarios. They are using different variables as the dependent variable because you can tell by the graph itself. And so if you look at Diego, his is distance. So for the dependent, which is the y-axis, right? Remember that. So for his is distance from the grass. And sorry about my writing. I forgot my pen for today. And then Lynn, hers was distance from the camera. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at this. So if you think about Diego has, his is that the dog is far away, kind of like, so the dog is actually at the grass, okay, holds for a second, and then starts coming towards the camera. So notice how if the grass was down on the bottom, and then the dog is kind of going away from it. Let's look at Lynn. Lynn, it was hers is the distance from the camera, pretty much where you're standing, and the dog was far away, and then it kind of was out there for a little bit, and then it came towards the camera. So today we're going to be talking about graphs, understanding it. So this is kind of intro to graphs and the different type of graphs that we're looking at. So Elena filled up the tub and gave her small dog a bath, and then she let the water out. So if we think about how the different graphs themselves, and let's go ahead and figure out which one it would be. So let's look at C. So this is where if we were thinking how the water, like the height of the water is the y, and then time is the x, this is where the tub was actually filled and it's coming out. Here, if we look at this one, same thing, the height of the tub is the y, time is the x, it's filled up, stays for a while, and then it's filled up again. But that's not the story of Elena. She filled it up, so again, the height of the water is the y, time is the x. If you fill it up, washed the dog, right, and then let out the water itself. So Elena's would actually be graph B. So kind of keep this in mind. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be graphing it, understanding graphs as far as stories and different things. So on page 50, it says for each situation, name the independent and dependent variables. Pick the graph that best for the situation, or sketch a graph that wasn't provided. We need to label the axis, and then we need to answer the question, which quantity is a function of what? And we need to understand why. So number 1 on page 50 is Jada is training for a swimming race. The more she practices, the less time it takes for her to swim a lap. So go ahead and answer that question. So pause and answer that question, and then come back to me. All right, so let's kind of think about this information. So we're talking about time off of a lap, and then time it kind of goes. So it's her like scheduled time kind of thing. So time, how long it goes, and then also the time that they're actually recording. I guess you can kind of think about that way. So let's look at it as the dependent, or the y-axis is going to be the time to swim a lap. So time, let's get our pen going. Let's do blue. Sorry again, I don't have my pen for today, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. So time to swim lap, right? And then we can kind of do it for all of them. Time to swim lap and time to swim lap. This one's a little bit different because we're looking at like the lap time versus just the time it actually goes ahead to takes to just swim itself. Okay, so it's kind of like the time of actually doing it versus the time of actually looking at it takes to go and swim. So Jada, she practices more and more and more, right? And it takes less time to do her swim. And if we look at it, which one would be the graph that actually would go with it? It's actually this first one. So she had, if we kind of look at it, she had a lot of time on it. She starts practicing, and starts taking it off and taking it off and taking it off. And eventually she'll just get to a point, it's just going to be a constant time that it will take her to go ahead and do her laps. Now looking at it, so which one is a function of which? So time to swim a lap is a function of the time it takes just to swim, okay? So just time in general, actually. So the time to swim a lap is a function of just time. And remember, so it's kind of like the output is a function of the input. Number 2, Andre adds some money to a jar in his room each week for 3 weeks and then takes them out on the 4th week. So here we don't have a graph. And so we want to go ahead and we want to find our independent variable, our dependent variable, so our x-axis, y-axis. We want to go ahead and graph it, and then we want to figure out which quantity is a function of which. So go ahead and pause, answer all of that, and then come back to me. So the first thing I like to go ahead and do is I like to go ahead and label my graph. So we're going to have the dependent is our money, and the independent is our time, or it's the weeks that he goes ahead and puts it in. And so he's just putting money into the jar itself. So each week he has like $1 and he puts it into the jar. So, and we're going to have it. So he has money. He adds some money to the jar in his room for each week. And so I'm thinking maybe he already has money in there. So he has some money, right? And then after that, he adds more money to it. And then he adds more money. And then he comes back and he takes out some money. The reason why it's more of just a line, so it's not like a linear line or a curvy line kind of stuff, where it's just this individual straight line here, is because if it was curved, that means he's putting money into his jar every second of every single day. And when you actually put money into a jar, you're just going to come up, you're going to put money in it, and then you're going to walk away. So that's why it's kind of like these chunked lines that go kind of up and then eventually comes down because he takes out on that 4th week. All right, let's turn to page 51. So here's the story about Noah. Noah was at home. He got on his bike and he rode to his friend's house. He stayed there for a while. Then he rode home again. And then he rode to the park. And then he rode home again. So we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to create a set of axes and sketch the graph of the story. We're going to figure out what quantities are going to go along with there. We're going to label the axes with their names and the units of measure. What quantity is a function of what. And then based on your graph, is his friend's house or park closer to Noah's home? And explain how you know. So read the story and all the responses again and do everything that makes sense. If not, make changes to your work. So again, Noah was at home. He got on his bike and he rode to his friend's house. And he stayed there for a while. Then he rode home again. Then he rode to the park. And then he rode home again. So we're taking this whole story and we're going to go ahead and make a graph with it. So grab a piece of paper, make an axis, label the information, and then go ahead and make the graph that goes with the story. And then so pause and then come back to me. So I went ahead and I made a graph for this story. This is my graph, and so let's kind of look at it. So notice this is distance from Noah's home. So I decided to have his distance kind of his home on the bottom, and then he's riding kind of away and then coming back. And then this is time in hours. So notice how he rode away. He was at home. He got on his bike and he rode to his friend's house. And then he stayed there for a while. Then he rode home again. And then he rode to the park, stayed there, and then came home. So his friend's house is actually farther away from his house than the park. The park is actually closer to it. And so this is the way that I went ahead and set it up, because it made a little bit more sense to me as far as the house is actually at the bottom part and he's kind of coming and going. So the way that this actually is that the distance from home is a function of time in hours. So distance from home in miles is a function of time in hours, because remember, the output is a function of the input. So remember, when we're actually making graphs, we're looking at stories. We want to go ahead and make our independent and our dependent variables. We want to go ahead and label those. We want to understand which the output is a function of the input. So which one is, what quantities we're going ahead and using, and we're actually applying it to the graphs themselves. Remember that some of our graphs can be curvy, they can be lines, they can be straight lines, they can be curved lines. They can also be just bits and pieces with it. So this is one of our goals, is to be able to make a graph from a story and go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and turn back to page 188. Let's read our I can statement again. I can draw the graph of a function that represents a real world situation. Give yourself a number. So 1, I still confused. 2, I kind of get it. 3, I got it. And then 4, I can teach it to my friend.